Welcome back, Truth Seeker. In the recent work I did on the death of Aretha Franklin, I said there must be something deeper to the number 35 that I don't know about yet. And I think today the answer came to me. Gotta thank Darrell out in Houston. Darrell's a radio man. He used to work for the station 102.1 Magic FM in Houston. He got to meet a lot of people while he worked for that radio station, and there's a very famous somebody. He said, please don't tell who, that told him about this word Svengali. And here's what it means. The word Svengali has come to refer to a person who with evil intent dominates, manipulates, and controls a creative person such as a singer or an actor. And when Darrell was telling me about this word, I had to plug it into Gematria. I just wanted to see what Svengali equaled. And when I typed it in the most significant of the base ciphers, right away I saw that it summed to 35. And I said, okay, you already got me, Darrell. There's obviously something here. I've been looking for the answer to this 35 riddle with Aretha Franklin and all these events surrounding her death and this number. This has to be it. After all, Aretha Franklin is the woman who sung the song Evil Gal Blues, a song that begins with the lyrics, I'm an evil gal, don't you bother with me, no. I said I'm an evil gal, don't you mess around with me. Well, I'll empty your pockets and fill you with misery. Yes, I will. And, that's atypical for most of the things Aretha sung about, but that was a song that she recorded. If you have Sirius XM after her death until the end of August, they played nothing but her music. Aretha Franklin, who had 42 studio albums, did a lot of covers. But they were playing that song a lot. I mean, I didn't listen to that station a lot during the time of the tribute. I mostly just turned it on when I was driving my girl back and forth between school and to the grocery store. For the record, out of all the channels on Sirius XM, I always have listened to Soul Town. That's the one they changed into the Aretha Franklin tribute station. That's my favorite station on Soul Town, hands down. But anyway, I just noticed they kept playing that song. They played a lot of songs, but they were playing that one just so repetitively. Evil Gal Blues. And I thought, it's interesting too. But look at this. Svengali equals 35, Satan equals 35, Baphomet equals 35. The day Aretha Franklin died, the only other thing that was really circulating in the news was that the Church of Satan unleashed their Baphomet statue in Arkansas, outside of the state capitol where the statue of the Ten Amendments was. So very interesting that happened the same day. The thing about 35 and Aretha Franklin is this. She died on the anniversary of Elvis's death. Elvis was born in 35. When he died in 1977, Aretha Franklin was 35 years old at the time. And again, they died on the same day, the 228th day of the year, a number that signifies death in Gematria. But remember, right before the death of Aretha Franklin, Nicki Minaj released her album Queen. Aretha, the Queen of Soul. Dead on the anniversary of the King, Elvis. Dead on Madonna's birthday, the Queen of Pop. But Nicki Minaj, she just released this album Queen, and she released it August 10th, 2018. She released it exactly 35 weeks after her 35th birthday. Look at that. From her birthday, December 8th, 2017, the day she turned 35, to the release date, 35 weeks on the nose. And this is why I was starting to go, okay, there's something really going on with 35. There's got to be some deeper meaning to this. And then lo and behold, Madonna comes out at the 35th VMAs and gives a tribute speech to Aretha Franklin, where she begins the speech by talking about how she had $35 in her pocket. Little numerological, don't you think? So I just knew something was up with 35. I'm going to have to go back over the years and look at very significant musicians' deaths. If you've read my book, Letters and Numbers, the chapter Murder by Numbers, there's a lot of patterns I talk about, repetitive patterns in people's deaths. There were some numbers where I was noticing they were coming up with a lot of people's deaths, but I just left that part out of the book because I didn't want to overwhelm and I didn't necessarily know what the number meant, but I was recognizing it. And no doubt 35 was one of these numbers. So now that I'm aware of this Svengali thing, and that it's a real concept within the entertainment industry, and now just looking at this overwhelming example with the passing of Aretha Franklin, makes me go, okay, I got to go back and revisit a lot of stories. There's probably just so many more examples of this 35. So that's what I mean with this study. We know a lot. We can already see a lot. We can figure out a lot from what we know, but there's always more to know, you know? So much more. So we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. The other thing I'll clue you into is I'm writing a chapter right now, essentially what would be a new chapter if I was going to put out another book, and it's on the death of Aretha Franklin, because there's just so many layers to it, as I've covered in the videos, and I'm just trying to make it a really nice, coherent, simple read. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my Patreon. So everyone who's on my Patreon, well, not everyone, but the people who are subscribed at the higher tiers, they're going to get that chapter for free. And I'm also going to end up putting it on the Etsy once it's available. And I think I'm just going to charge $1 for it. You know, I don't want it to be expensive. I mean, you get my whole book already for $5. I want people to have this content, but I'm planning to do this too. As big things happen, I'll write a nice piece, like the quality of my book, and it'll just be one more thing to add to the collection. And then if I decide to write another book, you know, I can take these things and assemble it all into one book. Maybe what I'll do each year going forward is take the biggest news stories of a year, and it'll be Letters and Numbers 2018, Letters and Numbers 2019, you know, get the biggest stories, the things people remember, and then release books that way. Thought, based on your guys' feedback, I'll see if that idea sounds like a winner or not. So thank you to Darrell for the information. And yeah, I think that connects a major dot right there. Until next time, Truth Seeker.